gentlemen, I feel humbled to receive the David M. Nomi Lifetime Achievement Award this morning. First and foremost, I am grateful to God who has purposed this. I acknowledge him publicly as the source of all good things in my life. I see PFM as a most important aspect of public administration and a tool that helps government to improve fiscal management and impact positively on the lives of people. So that has been a source of motivation for me to engage in anything, just anything that will advance the PFM agenda. Moreover, I fully appreciate that PFM is universal, never mind that countries are at different levels of maturity, and that as an international umbrella organization for interested parties in PFM, ICGFM has a huge role to play in PFM globally. So I am inspired to serve on its advisory board and to contribute to its mission. My engagements in PFM over the past 35 years have been from academic, consulting, and international development perspectives. Ironically, a perspective from which I have not engaged in is my original motivation to be a PFM expert. That is the government perspective. I grew up with a keen interest to hold an elective office in my country and to use my PFM expertise to contribute to improving the management of and accountability for public funds. If you are from my part of the world, you will recognize how important that could be. However, that ambition did not materialize, partly because friends consistently warned me that I'm too candid to last for more than a few weeks in politics. I'm glad, however, to have had other platforms to use my expertise to influence the agenda in many countries and even globally. I've greatly benefited from my relationships with several people over the years, and I wish to acknowledge some of them this morning. First is my head of department at the University of Maiduguri, Nigeria, Professor Lowo Kure, who ignited my interest in PFM when he asked me to teach the subject at postgraduate level in 1988. And he was extremely supportive of my postgraduate studies in public financial management. Second is Professor Eddie Omolenwa of the University of Lagos, Nigeria, who supervised my master's dissertation on subnational PFM. Third, Professor Cyril Tompkins and Mr. Peter Fass of the University of Bath, United Kingdom, who supervised my doctoral thesis on PFM and change management that Laura mentioned earlier on. I'm also grateful to Professor Tony Fanzal for his leadership while I pursue further research in PFM and teach at honors and postgraduate levels at Victoria University of Wellington, New Zealand. Their guidance was priceless. I also appreciate colleagues that I've worked with intensely on PFM, especially Tony Egati. I don't think he's here this morning. He was my former boss at the World Bank. He asked me to lead the bank's PFM capacity development work across Africa countries between 2002 and 2006. And he also recommended me to serve on the ICGFM advisory board. Similarly, I would like to acknowledge my direct reports over the years. They are too numerous to mention, but two of them are here this morning, Nike Oyeyola and Srini Gurasa. Together, we push the envelope and pursue initiatives like PFMs for service delivery, PFM in the security sector, PFM in fragile and post-conflict countries, IFMIS, internal audit modernization, supreme audit reforms, transparency and oversight reforms, PFM for climate change, revenue administration, public investment management, procurement, and so on. Some initiatives like professionalization of PFM in developing countries that we pursued in the early 2000s are only just being broadly embraced. Also, I appreciate several other people in academia, INTOSAI, PEFA Steering Committee, and multilateral and bilateral and other global institutions, as well as clients that I've interacted with over the years. One of such clients is present here today. He's a distinguished senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and former Federal Accountant General and two-term state governor in Nigeria, Alhaji Ibrahim Dankwabo. The support of my family has been most important. I greatly appreciate my wife, who would have loved to be here this morning. She's a consistent pillar of strength for me on all fronts. I'm also grateful to my mother, who not only paid my way through college, but kick-started my training and stimulated my interest in finance and accountability while I was in elementary school. She achieved that by making me to keep records for our business and to read that to her on a regular basis, while she meticulously corrected any errors. She taught me to be very rigorous in everything that I do. I would be remiss in this speech if I failed to mention the leading role of government and hence the criticality of public finance in tackling many challenges confronting our world today, including climate change, conflict, corruption, high debt, inflation, and more. We know that as blood is to the functioning of a human body, so is finance to the operations of a government. Similarly, the role of PFM in managing public finance can be likened to that of the heart in blood circulation. It is important, therefore, that PFM continues to be fit for purpose by evolving in response to the ever-increasingly complex business of governance, as well as to the rising citizens' expectation on efficiency and effectiveness in the use of public resources. Amongst other things, many countries will need to tackle the prevalence of formalism by aligning their practices to the extant PFM laws and regulations. Although governments have taken much advantage of technology in modernizing PFM over the years through IFMIS, there are advances like blockchain and artificial intelligence that could still be embraced to transform the management of public finances. Also, much data is held in PFM system that could be better managed and used to produce analysis and reports for a more efficient and effective management of public resources. Some countries still need to professionalize their PFM, and that is important in a world where corruption is rife. Having professionals that observe certain ethical standards to manage public finances can be priceless. As I conclude this morning, let me especially thank Laura and other members of the ICGFM leadership team for this award. I'm humbled and overwhelmed with gratitude for this recognition. I have no doubt that this will inspire many others across the globe. We all have much to contribute and are making and can make a lot of difference. Again, I thank God for the opportunity to contribute and push the envelope. And I look forward to doing more for years and decades to come. Thanks, and may God bless you all.